So I was sitting around the other day talking to a friend of mine, and we got to talking about the current volatility in the market and the ups and downs just in the course of a week. How the market was struggling. There was a big sell off, people unloading and going into cash, and in the same week we had a record 1 day increase. When the president announced there's going to be a 90-day reprieve on some of the tariffs. So a lot of volatility. So we were just sitting around talking about um, that very fact, and he asked me. He said, "So what kind of mix do you have, Mike?" He was asking me, and I think he assumed that I was 100% equities and with no bonds. And I said, well, first of all, he actually said he is pretty much 100% equities, and he's a little older than I am. And and then, of course, I said, "Well, I'm not 100% equities, not at this point in my life. I'm essentially I got a 70-30 mix between equities and bonds." And he was a little surprised, but that difference is really, um, in a nutshell, what asset allocation is about and what risk tolerance is about. There is no right or wrong answer. There is only the mix that you as an individual are comfortable with. He is absolutely comfortable, and he actually said it. I'm comfortable with the risk. I'm comfortable with the ups and downs. I have no problem with it. I, on the other hand, I also have a tolerance for some volatility, but having 30% fixed income, bonds, cash, whatever the case may be, helps me sleep a little better at night. So, and again, there is not a right or wrong answer. And you really don't know what your asset allocation should be until you go through at least one bear market and see how you're able to sleep at night and see if you are nervous all the time or see if you're able to function throughout the day. Until you actually go through a bear market and see what happens and feel the emotion that goes along with that, you really don't know what your asset allocation should be. So, again, he's comfortable with the 100% equities. I'm comfortable with the 70-30 mix. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. But I wanted to show you using a tool that I've showed you guys before. It's a tool called Testfolio. Um, and it just allows you to go back in time, back test, and see if for a certain period of time you had had this particular mix, what the outcome would have been. So I'm going to go back to, say, the year I was born. So that's May 14th, 1969. And I'm going to end, um, today, 4/13/2025. And let's say you got that's okay. Let's say we'll leave it right there, $10,000 starting value, and cash flow frequently. We'll adjust it for inflation, and so we'll just go with that, and we'll see what we want to add here. We're just going to add um, VTI, which is a Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. And we're just going to say 100% of the portfolio is in VTI. Okay, so it's going back 1969, the day I was born, through today with a $10,000 investment. And if we hit back test, let's see what it shows us. If you look down here, it goes back to May 31st, 2021. So that's as far back as the data it has as a data. As only data is only available that far back. Okay, so you see with just that total stock market ETF, ending balance with a $10,000 investment is $38,817. That's without adding anything else to it. So that's so I has basically earned almost 6% during that period of time. You see right here the drawdown. At its lowest was at 50 negative 56.23%. So you think if you're losing during that period of time, if you lose over half of the value of your investment, would you be able to sleep at night? That's what we're talking about here. You see the volatility 19.32%. Um, so yeah, drawdown. This is what I wanted to show you right here. Would you be able to sleep at night if your portfolio during for a certain period of time was negative 56.23%? Okay, so if you can handle that, then fine. There's no doubt. Historically, equities is a place to be. It is proven that the equities is where you earn the money. Um, it is where you're going to make grow the most wealth. But the question becomes, how are you going to be able to handle that volatility? But let's look here for a second at annual returns. Here it is right here. Let's see. Yeah, so 10% this was 2016 here. 2022 was negative 24.4%. This just shows how over the years, over that period of time, how it performed. Let's go back. So 2001, so negative 6, negative 22, then plus 28% that year. You see right here? You have some plus years there. Then you come on up to 2006, 12.85. Here's 2008. Anybody remember what happened in 2008? Housing market, right? Crash. Minus 37%. Would you be able to handle that kind of look what the balance is. The balance goes to $7,000. But you see it as you keep moving forward, plus 25, plus 15, minus one, all these years. So the trend line is definitely up. You're overall you're earning money, absolutely earning money. Um, but you're not earning that money every year. So that's where, again, your makeup, your risk tolerance comes in. And you have to ask yourself and determine, would you be able to sleep? All right. So let's go back. Now we're going to have that same period of time, use that same period of time, and we're going to stick with BTI, but we're going to add just a total stock market, I'm sorry, a total bond fund to it to balance out that volatility. So let's just go 50-50. No, let's go 70-30, which is roughly where I am right now. 70% equities in VTI and then 30% BND. All right. And let's back test it. You see the max drawdown? See, it's not as bad. What's that? I think that's about 16 points better when you add the bonds to balance out that volatility. And let's go over here and look at the annual returns. So let's go back here as far as we can go back to 2007. You still have some minus years in there, but you see those minuses are fewer and they're actually smaller. So if we come over here, yeah, see all these greens, there's a minus 22 right there in 2022. But let's look at 2008 because that was the big year when we had so that was a 23.9. Anybody remember what it was when it was just total the VTI or the total stock market equity fund only? So it's 23.9 right there. And let's go back. It's easy enough to do it. Let's get rid of this. So 23.9 with the stock bond mix of 70-30. Let's go back to the 100% equity fund. So remember that now, 23. And then with this one, minus 37. It's huge difference in the loss when you go 100% equities and then when you back or balance it out with some bonds. Let's try one more thing here. Let's go back to the mix of the stock fund and the bond fund. And I had 70-30. A typical retirement asset allocation is 60% equities and 40% bonds. If we go with that allocation or that stock bond mix, then let's see what it looks like. First of all, the summary drawdown is 35%. Um, See that, so you don't, maybe you don't earn as much money, and that's the thing. Maybe you don't earn as much money, but it's not absolutely about squeezing out every nickel, especially when you can't sleep at night when the market is up and down like a roller coaster. Look at the annual returns for the 60/40 mix. Let's go back to 2008 again, since that was a year that, yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, so it's minus 19. Again, a smaller loss, still a loss, but the loss is smaller. So that kind of in a nutshell is what we mean when we say, hey, whatever your risk tolerance is, you have to come up with what fits you and what makes you comfortable. There's risk regardless of which way you go. And people don't understand this. There's also risk when you don't have anything in the market, because one of the surest ways historically to stay ahead of inflation has been to invest in equities. Anybody remember the old brick and mortar savings account where you might get 0.3% interest? Inflation will outrun that all day, every day. So regardless of what you do, there's risk. Some people say, "Oh, I can't risk it. I can't risk it." Well, you know what? If you don't have anything that's helping you to stay ahead of inflation, that's also risky. So we have to make those informed decisions that are right for us, because again, personal finance is personal, uh, and we have to decide which way we want to go and live with that, and make our most informed decision in a way that allows us to make some money, but also allows us to sleep at night. So I just thought I want to jump on it and just share that with you, because there's a lot of discussion about that right now. And I've said before, I haven't really changed anything. I'm still at 70/30 mix. Um, I rebalanced the other day, 70/30. That's where I'm comfortable with that at this point in my life. At this point, where I am as it relates to retirement, that my distance from retirement, I'm still buying. Um, Even at a discount, I'm still buying, because I'm able to buy more shares for the same amount of money. And that is when, and I that is literally when people get wealthy. When everybody else is selling, the people who are still buying at a discount, when the market returns, those people grow their wealth exponentially. So I just want the listeners of this channel to be in the group that really thinks about what you need to do to help grow your wealth for you and your family, and again, to stay ahead of inflation, which can eat your lunch. Okay, we're living that. We can see that. But again, historically, equities have been a way that people have been allowed to stay, not only just stay ahead of inflation, but to grow significant wealth for them and their families. So, hope you guys got something out of this. I know I did, and I will see you soon.